Well, hello everyone and welcome to The Weird Man, an exploration of the access of leadership and your humanity for everyone. This is the third episode of Series 3 about the application of Love SG, a worldview in leadership and leadership projects. While we are still in the midst of coronavirus or COVID-19 virus worldwide pandemic, and socially isolating and distancing from each other. I'm at home making a schedule that has me in action designing a number of online offerings. Some, like The Weird Man, I've had going for a while. My brand new project, an online physiotherapy clinic, is nearly at promotion stage. I'm also giving myself more rest and have a list of home maintenance things to do as well. I hope things are all going well for you. I'd encourage you to take the time that you can to reflect on the way you are as a leader. If you are somewhere near survival mode, that can be a perfect place for you to find your leadership in the language of virtues, spirituality, and the generation of futures. This episode, I'm going to talk a bit more about the possibilities for your leadership projects. But you don't need to look around very far to find your leadership endeavour. Your leadership endeavours show up in your world as the things you are dealing with, the issues that you find are impacting your life. One way to distinguish the issues that are impacting your life is to write down a list of your most common complaints. Do that now. Your complaints will fall into a few areas of life: family, friends, career, work and business, the community you live in, the community you communicate with, bigger politics, special interests, for example, sports, art, science, nature, special impacts, your health, natural disasters. You might make a big list, so I suggest that you write them down under the 8 themes I've just mentioned. When you have your table of lists, and that might look like this, each issue in each column in degree of importance to you, from 1 being the most important to the higher numbers being the least important, and do that for each column, for each theme. Now look at the issues you have numbered 1, 2 and 3 in each column, and number them all in order of importance from 1 to whatever it is. I suggest that you make up to the first 4 most important issues that come up for you, and no more than 4, as your leadership project. See, I suggest 4 because you're not likely to adequately deal with more than 4 issues, and this is the same whether you are dealing with family and work issues or you're the President or Prime Minister of your nation. The only real difference is that someone who's leading a whole nation is encapsulating a myriad of levels of other leaderships under their leadership issues. You want to get that point. You might think that leading a family and leading a nation is a different kind of thing. I want you to get that it is when you are not leading in the family and not leading in the nation that more differences show up between those things. What you might think of as differences in leading the family as leading a nation may be an indication of where you are not leading. So if you are not leading in the family or in your workplace, these may come up as complaints and your most important issues. And they are good places to start learning how to lead in a larger organisation or lead the nation. I'm not saying that that's what you want to do in life. It's just as you get a handle on leadership, you can contribute more and more in your community and your world. So now once you have written down your 4 leadership projects or arenas, write underneath them 1 project for each. This is how that would look. Firstly, it will be a future in about 6 months' time in each arena of endeavour. Secondly, You will write that future as you are standing in that future. So it will look like, my family gathers enthusiastically for a dinner meal together 4 evenings per week. My business sales have increased 25% and my staff are engrossed in making it all work the best possible, solving all the problems that are thrown up as individuals and teams. Or, my neighbourhood is a place I can come back to each day for rest, security and the enjoyment of friends. It's like writing a story about the past because you're standing in the future and it's already past. You aren't even yet promising or committing to any of these things. You can just get in the action of looking at the possibility of the project in a clear way. That has its own effect in bringing something to any project. It's useful to note in leadership where you are resistant to a project. And get that when I say resistant, I don't mean like a judgment as you are wrong or bad to be resistant. No, wrong or bad has nothing to do with this. There are good reasons to be resistant to some things. I'm particularly resistant to projects that have young men marching off to war. I think I've got good reason. I'm also particularly resistant to talking calmly to people who can't control their dogs and cats, and that might be unreasonable. You don't need to do anything about that. You can just be, oh well, I see that I'm resistant to these things, and so I'll note that and keep on teasing out how a leadership project would look like in this area. Next week, I'm going to talk further about how to make resistance work for you in any leadership project. Bye for now.